Hello, this is the Bible in Fewer Words. We are Steve and Carol Wells. This is episode 6, Genesis chapter 20. Abraham and Sarah traveled to the south country of Gerar. When they arrived, Abraham told the king Abimelech that Sarah was his sister, and Abimelech had Sarah brought to him. So, Steve, where do we think they were going, Abraham and Sarah?
Yeah, it's mysterious because this is the first verse of the chapter immediately following the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. So we know nothing really except for Sodom and Gomorrah have been destroyed. Lot was in the cave with his daughters, and Abraham and Sarah are traveling to the south to a land of Gerar.
So, do we think maybe they just are getting out because it was pretty frightening to have Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed, and they just want to get away?
I'm not sure, but I think they live nearby, and they may have been just upset by the destruction, and they're leaving. It just doesn't say, so we don't know. Another thing that's interesting here is there's no Ishmael, who was with them. He was circumcised with Abraham a few chapters ago, and Hagar had come back to live with them, so the four of them were together, but now we just have the two of them, just Sarah and Abraham.
Okay.
And the sister thing, if that seems familiar, right? Doesn't that seem kind of familiar? She's my sister.
Oh, yes.
Because Abraham told the king that she was his sister, but she's not really his sister. As far as we know, she's his wife.
Uh-huh.
But we know that he does this. He did this before, or they did this together with the Pharaoh. It was soon after they were married. They were newlyweds, kind of older newlyweds. He was about 77. And she was in her 60s. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and that's where they got all their stuff after they tricked the Pharaoh.
Yeah. Abraham became a wealthy man after that. And this was pretty far back because now Abraham, he was 99 when he was circumcised. And it's after that. So he's about 100 years old now, and Sarah now, who is 10 years younger than Abraham, is about 90 years old.
Okay.
God came to Abimelech in a dream that night and said, "You are a dead man, because the woman you have taken is another man's wife." Abimelech, who hadn't come near Sarah, said, "But they said she was his sister."
Uh-huh.
God said, I know you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I stopped you from sinning against me by touching her. Give Sarah back to Abraham. He'll pray for you, and I won't kill you. If you don't, I'll kill you and all of your people.
Okay, we have to stop there.
Okay.
I mean, Would you rely on that if you were
Well, Abraham is a very special person to God, so a prayer from Abraham is worth a ton, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. One other thing that's interesting here is that Abimelech, in his dream, all of this, by the way, remember, is a dream. We're relying on Abimelech's memory of his dream, where God visited him, and I guess he wrote it all down.
Okay.
Or at least told, somehow it ended up in the Bible, which is really amazing. I can't remember my dreams in that detail.
No, I can't either.
But Abimelech apparently remembered this. It's a very memorable dream. And in the dream, he said to God, they said she was his sister. And the actual text of the Bible, which I condensed a little bit, says, even she told me that she was his sister.
So Sarah said, I'm his sister.
Yes.
Abraham said, she's my sister.
Right. So it was a lie that both Sarah and Abraham participated in.
So they're in cahoots.
I guess. Yeah, it sounds that way.
So it's kind of like a con game to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one problem is I haven't finished this little section here, and we probably should finish that up.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so and we're now at verse 9 of this chapter, which says, verse 9 says, Abimelech called Abraham and said, "Why did you lie to me about your wife?" Abraham said, "Because I thought you'd kill me to get your wife."
To get my wife.
Yeah, right. To get my wife.
Okay, so he thought that he'd kill him, but he didn't get killed last time. Oh, but last time he did say it was his sister.
Yeah, it worked last time. He didn't get
and
killed.
then he was compensated with all that stuff.
Right, we'll see what happens. So that's the end of this section.
Okay, well, this is verse 12. Abraham said to King Abimelech, "She is my sister. She's the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother." All right, so not his stepsister, but his half-sister.
Half-sister, yeah. Yes, and this is the only place in the Bible where we get that information.
And are there rules in the Bible about who you can marry?
There are very strict rules in both. It's mentioned twice in Leviticus and once in Deuteronomy, and it's forbidden to marry the daughter of your father or the daughter of your mother. In this case, it's the daughter of the father, according to Abraham, and God's rules would say you shouldn't do that.
Okay. I asked Sarah to tell people she's my sister when we're away from home. Okay. Abimelech gave Sarah back to Abraham, along with sheep, oxen, slaves, and 1,000 pieces of silver. He's kind of a nice guy.
Yeah, this is working out well. So then the next section we have, this is verse 17 and 18. Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his female slaves so that they all bear children.
Okay, just a second. Was Abimelech sick?
I don't know. The Bible does say that he healed Abimelech, but it seems like he's emphasizing here the wife, the female slaves, so that they could have children. So I don't know. I don't know how that works with the Abimelech thing, but he made it so that his wife and the female slaves could bear children because the Bible explains that God had closed all the wombs in Abimelech's house because Abimelech believed the lie about Sarah. And that's how the chapter ends.
That's it.
That's it. That's the whole story.
So if I were to name this chapter, I might say Abraham and Sarah's con game.
Yeah, but it is, and it's the second time they've used it.
Mm-hmm. Do they do it yet again in the future of the Bible?
Whoa, there is a very similar thing that's coming up not too far from now.
Okay, well, they've got this figured out.
Yeah.
So they get this booty, I guess it is, from the king. I mean, they've got money and oxen and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's living happily ever after. All the wombs have all been reopened or opened in the kingdom. And so there we are.
Okay, so that was
chapter 20.
And we'll see you next time in episode 7.